The lightest of the two storms that we're anticipating for the rest of the work week. You can see the activity from the last 6 hours, how things are sort of dwindling down. Action continuing to push, though, out over to the east, and as it does so, still watching one lone shower getting close to El Cajon. So dry now, but get ready in about 5 minutes. You'll see some of that rain coming down. La Mesa, it's just to the north of you, so noticing some of those grayer clouds. Anticipating you will see some drying conditions, at least until we get to the later evening hours. Also dancing all around Alpine, some lighter rain, primarily right along I-8. The shower activity for the rest of tonight really looks to go down to around 20%, but yet again, we have another storm on the way. So our rain forecast indicating that by the time we get to around 5 o'clock, yet again, the action staying further out over toward the foothills, possibly once we get closer to 7 o'clock out over toward Ramona. We'll see it around 11 or 9 o'clock into Chula Vista, now watching the very edge of this first storm trying to exit out. So squeezing the last little bit of moisture it has. By 11 o'clock, this model indicating strong showers coming down through Carlsbad, down through La Jolla, and even through San Diego. But yet again, this is just as we wrap up this first storm, because look what's happening for the central half of California, snowfall. So our second storm, and this one will be colder, bringing snow as well to our local mountains, is on the way. We talk about that up next, guys.
All right, a lot.
We're going to see some snow of our own. We have another system coming on down, bringing rain for our coast inland areas, and our mountains are going to see a little bit of the snowfall. Right now, when we take a look, it's looking just at the very level of the cloud deck is. 56 degrees there with your winds about 8 miles per hour. There is a wind advisory for the mountain and desert areas, which we'll get to coming up in just a bit. One thing we know, though, is a cold front has moved throughout the area, or is about to move through the region, and we're dealing with the rain wrapped right in front of it. We'll get a brief break from the precipitation with that drier drier air and cooler temperatures will come on down, making way for the second storm system. You can see it's still out over toward Oregon. It's going to collect some of this moisture still hanging off of the jet stream and swing through by tomorrow morning and linger in our area through Friday, and that system is going to be the strongest system out of these two storms. Walking you hour by hour in your rain cloud forecast. Starting you off, looks like tomorrow morning about 7 a.m. Really just about a 10 to 20% chance of rain. Very spotty in Del Mar, even out over toward Point Loma. Heavier stuff, though, found in Orange County if you're traveling that way for work. Once we get to about the 10 a.m. hour, now we start to see the action really begin to kick up into San Diego County. From Palomar Mountain through Valley Center, all the way out over toward Del Mar and La Jolla, even portions of I-8 dealing with some of the rain. I think it's going to expand a little bit once we get to 12:30, starting to notice some of the yellows and oranges. This is when we do actually have the chance of thunderstorms, and if we're caught in the one, we will get substantial precipitation compared to today where we saw ½ an inch. If we get stuck in heavier rain, we could actually see a little bit more, maybe closer to 3/4 of an inch tomorrow. By 5:30, yet again, dealing with rain for your evening commute, heaviest staying out over toward the mountain foothills, beginning to come to an end for us late Thursday, or even early by Friday morning at around 6:30 a.m., the very tail end of that system moving through the area. Coming up, we talk about the areas. That's going to last until about 7 o'clock tonight, with winds sustained around 20 to 40 miles per hour, but occasionally we can see a gust closer to 70. The shower activity predominantly in between El Cajon and Pine Valley, right around Lakeside and even through Alpine, as it continues to push further out to the east. So we'll get a brief little break from it, although I still can't quite rule out an isolated shower for tonight before the, yet again, more activity begins to build in tomorrow through Friday morning. In fact, tomorrow's storm is going to be a little bit stronger than what we saw today. So this is the forecast for tomorrow's rain only. Almost 7/10 of an inch in Ramona, 3/10 out over toward Escondido. You can see Pine Valley collecting over an inch of rain and over 1/4 of an inch down through Chula Vista. The second storm on track for tomorrow is not only going to produce some rain, but it's going to be colder, and so as a result, snow coming down to our mountains. The level at about 4,500 feet. So thinking Palomar Mountain, maybe about 2 inches of snow, and a little bit higher into Mount Laguna, possibly 2 to 4 inches of snowfall there. Coming up, we will take a look at the rainfall totals from today, as well as your 7-day forecast for when we finally decide to dry out. Guys, up to about almost 3/4 of an inch into Palomar. Fallbrook saw almost ½ an inch. You can see the heaviest rain was found into North County. As the system continued to push further to the south, it lost a lot of its oomph. So Kearney Mesa only around 1500s and La Jolla around 700s. But don't worry, tomorrow we have another chance of getting stronger rain coming on down, and with that, even a few thunderstorms are possible. The radar from the last hour continues to show the action as it continues to push a little bit further out to the east, although somewhat stationary right along I-8 in between El Cajon and Pine Valley. I think the action for tonight will stay about 10 to 20% and then increase for us as we head through tomorrow and ending early Friday morning with our second storm on down. Broad look what's happening across the country. Still watching this band of rain. Nothing severe coming down throughout, I'd say, Ohio and even through Illinois, although still maybe picking up an inch of precipitation back there. Focusing in, though, on California, the area shaded in pink. Winter storm warnings continue up for the Sierra Nevada mountain range until around 10 p.m. on Thursday. Snow totals in general about 2 to 4 inches at lower elevations in those mountain peaks, getting all the way up to around 12 inches of snow. So that's why I say, Jason, if you want to see the snow, you can still do it no matter what. Sure. And also looking at a winter weather advisory, the area shaded in purple, up for your relatives into Nevada, where they're anticipating around 5 to 9 inches at lower elevations. The mountain peaks there getting closer to around 18 inches. If you have relatives along the northern tier, they might want to come down to San Diego. Even though it's cool here, it's not going to be as cool with that wind chill advisory. It feels like negative 40 degrees there. For us, we actually have a beach hazard statement up through tomorrow morning, simply because of a full moon on Thursday. That's going to increase our tides to about 7 feet. 7-day forecast, though, 60 degrees tomorrow, 70% chance of rain ending early Friday. The desert, 63 degrees, rebounding, though, into the 70s by Saturday. Let's look at your 7-day forecast. Guys, over to you. Look at the radar showing us we're still dealing with just a storm system, still impacting San Francisco. That's the area shaded in green, and you can see a little circulation right there. It's tapping into all of this moisture with that atmospheric river we've been talking about, which is really just the jet stream that's just super saturated. So we have a lot of moisture available to work with, and that is why tomorrow we are forecasting to pick up even more rain than what we already saw today. So Thursday and early Friday will be the days that we see the heaviest precipitation. Rainfall totals simply from the next 2 days, over an inch in Ramona, over an inch in Palomar Mountain, Encinitas and Del Mar, close to half an inch of rain there, and even out toward Chula Vista, almost 7/10 of an inch. This second storm system, by the way, that's coming down, not only is it tapping into more moisture, it's bringing with it some colder air, so snowfall down to our local mountains. Palomar may be picking up around 1 inch, and into Mount Laguna, maybe 1 to 2 inches. We're just to our north. They're dealing with a winter storm warning. Coming up, we'll talk about the timing of thunderstorms that'll come along with this second round as well. Guys? With so much rain in our forecast, there's a chance that some of those drought-stricken trees could fall tomorrow. A 10% chance of thunderstorms rolling through the area after 3 p.m. Coming up, I'll tell you when the rain enters your neighborhood in the next half hour. Today's rainfall totals, they're nothing, sitting at only 0.05 of an inch in downtown. More rain is on the way. We break down the timing up next. East, most of it staying further just to our south, and there is actually one strong cell that has now pushed itself along the shoreline. It's only 1 mile away from Chula Vista. So right now Chula Vista is getting lighter rain, but anticipate things to begin to get really heavy, most likely in about 5 minutes, coming down at about 1/4 of an inch an hour. Also out over toward Imperial Beach, dealing with some of the heavier rainfall, at least for the next 10 minutes. But remember, this is just the end of storm number 1. We are still waiting for the arrival of storm number 2, which will happen sometime late tomorrow morning. With these systems, we are squeezed into very low visibility. Fog being reported from Palomar all the way through Alpine, and it is going to stay hazy as well for tomorrow with the rain, so driving through the mountains probably not the best bet. Still watching our second storm system, which is out over toward northern and central California. That's going to swing down, scoop up some moisture, and deliver it into our own backyard. So here's your hour-by-hour rain forecast. This is really important, right? Come here and pay attention. By 7:30 in the morning, only a 20% chance of rain. So you're not going to have too much of a problem getting to work. The one exception, obviously, out toward downtown. You can see a better chance there pushing out over toward Otay Mesa. Now at 9:30, we bump that rain chance up to around 50%, covering a good chunk of I-5 as well as portions of I-15, anywhere from La Mesa all the way out over toward Fallbrook. By noon, we are now looking at an 80% rain chance. I think we're going to see a lot more green here on the screen than what this model's indicating. Also notice the yellows and oranges. We didn't see that for today. So the rain coming down with a lot more power. It can be blinding at times. Staying with us at 5 p.m. still, I'm thinking widespread rain pushing all the way back out over toward I-5. So not only staying into Julian as well as into El Cajon. Also noticing some areas of pink coming down. So wintry mix now in our forecast for our mountain locations. By 11 p.m., We're still stuck in the rain. This is why this storm system is going to be a lot more powerful than the one that we just had. Not only bringing with it the fog and the heavy rain, but this is when we could actually have a 10% chance of thunderstorms into the late evening hours. By the time we get to Friday at 8 a.m., I still think a 20% chance of rain that we could see some of these cells make their way on shore, but then we are in the clear by the time we get into the afternoon. Temperatures, though, are still going to struggle. 7-day forecast, 60 degrees tomorrow with widespread rain. Remember, thunderstorms later in the day. By Friday, to rain on Friday than anywhere else in the county. The deserts are looking at the lower 60s. Let's look at your 7-day forecast.